Throughout the rich history of life on Earth, various intriguing and fascinating creatures have emerged, potentially causing dread in cinema and literature. These unusual lifestyles could even put the fictional monsters of horror genres in a disadvantageous situation due to their extraordinary and strange appearance. Observing the video above, it is interesting to note that our ancestors aimed their gaze towards certain creatures considered monstrous. However, animals that once had a prominent position were replaced by other species over time. These once prominent figures are now forgotten and are no longer recognized for their contributions, gradually disappearing from history. The cycle of visibility and invisibility between living beings recurs over the years, showing the transition of prominent positions in the animal kingdom. By a happy coincidence of evolution, we can say that our ancestors did not have to face the difficulties and adversities we could imagine thanks to God's intervention and provision. Identifying and naming the enormous titans and ferocious predators of the Mesozoic era is easy. This era was marked by a remarkable variety of life forms, including giant dinosaurs that ruled terrestrial ecosystems and other marine and aerial creatures. Due to the complexity and variety of these species, the nomination procedure is easier and less complicated. Despite its unpredictable nature, it would be dishonest and inappropriate for me to highlight creations in a distant timeline. There is also a group of living organisms that did not survive and evolve due to mass extinction during the KPG period. At this point, you may be wondering what types of people will be discussed in this topic. The Cenozoic period, which we live in today, began around 66 million years ago after the KPG event, which marked the end of the dinosaur period and continues today. During this extended period, significant events shaped the formation of Earth and the evolution of the species that now inhabit it. It is a period in the history of our planet that is often overlooked and ignored by the general public due to lack of knowledge and interest. That time, not so distant in reality today, presented beings that were true nightmares. Although most people associate the Cenozoic era with glacial events, the truth is that Earth experienced a significant euphoria throughout this time. This atmospheric phenomenon transformed the world into a tropical environment, with warm and humid characteristics. After the KPG mass extinction, survivors faced a new world with diverse possibilities and opportunities. The territory presented as reptile domain territory has significantly deforested, helping biology experiment with small and recent survivors, adapting and thriving in the new environment. As a result of this evolutionary process, nature produced a vast array of unique creatures that appear to have undergone intense pressure, including true monsters. Welcome to the fascinating and diverse world of mammals. Please follow me as I present a list of the 7 most notable people whom our ancestors had the chance to meet but did not become part of their daily lives due to various circumstances. Hyenodonts, a group of carnivorous mammals, lived during the Paleocene to Miocene, adapting to diverse environments. Similar to hyenas, these animals were known for their predatory behavior and hunting skills, feeding on various types of prey. Hyenodonts tem dentes especializados, adaptados a carne y com variedades de tamaños y formas, adaptando aos nichos ecológicos ao longo do tiempo. Although extinct, these fascinating creatures provide valuable insights into the evolution and diversity of carnivorous mammals and contribute to our understanding of past ecosystems. I would like to share a set of predators that exemplifies the primitive Cenozoic environment. During the period of Earth history when evolution was occurring, significant changes were made to the mammalian species. Despite their name, hyenodonts have no relation to the current hyenas. Els são classificados como pertencentes en un ramo completamente extinto e significativamente diferente dos grandes carnívoros existentes. Hyenodonts tem características más similares a roedores do que a tigre, por ejemplo. I was aware of the various dimensions these animals may have, such as being the size of a little mammal like a comadraja. On the other hand, one stood out for its impressive size, reaching 3 meters in height and 500 pounds, making it one of the largest of its kind. Hyenodonts of large dimensions were found in both African and European regions, revealing their widespread geographic distribution. Based on their unique jaw structure, it may be concluded that these animals were carnivores, with their jaws adapted to effectively catch larger mammals. This anatomical trait reveals its predatory nature, demonstrating its ability to capture and eat large prey. The teeth of these animals have a unique shape resembling a tessera, which is a notable characteristic. Currently, several carnivorous animals have a specific tooth type. No ambito dos hyenodonts, identicao a composta por un tipo de dente específico, progetado para destruico efficient dos osos. The extremities of the cauda of larger species exhibit notable and impressive characteristics. A exemplificao especifica do fenomeno aos tigres dentes de saber americanos, que representam o concepto de evolução convergent. This type of evolution occurs when organisms develop comparable traits independently due to adapting to similar environments or niches. During a period spanning around 40 million years ago to 14 million years ago, a unique group of mammals lived on our planet. This time span encompassed millennia of generations and many environmental changes throughout Earth's history. The fact that these species have survived for 26 million years is significant, especially since most mammalian species have a lifespan of less than 5 million years. These creatures developed traits or adaptabilities that allowed them to survive for a lengthy period, unlike other mammals which have a shorter lifespan. Os hyenodonts se encontram neste espaço devido a sua evolução e adaptação ao ambiente, mas suas maiores especies não se destacam como criaturas incríveis. Esta na região de Sergipe, na Colombia, a maior mina de carvão ao sul do planeta. This mine is vast and one of the most significant sources of natural resources in the world. Essas grandes acumulações de carvão encontradas na região são o resultado de decomposição de restos orgânicos de vastas selvas tropicales prehistóricas. These fossils show that approximately 50 million years ago, this area of South America was covered by dense and abundant vegetation, making the Amazon seem tiny. Essa densa vegetação arbórea e tropical, conhecida como selva, is the result of severe climatic conditions caused by the greenhouse. In this hypothetical scenario, the average global temperature would reach 34 degrees Celsius. Additionally, the relative humidity of the air would be at extreme levels, equal to 100%. To complete this challenging environment, the amount of precipitation in this region would be double what the Amazon already faces, creating a more thriving and potentially chaotic ecosystem. In this mining site, paleontologists began excavation and found skeletal remains of ancient inhabitants of dense tropical forests. These remains especially refer to a variety of reptiles with impressive sizes, exceeding the size of existing species. The researchers identified a specific vertebra in the fossils analyzed. The initial idea was that it was a crocodile vertebra, a highly intriguing animal due to its unique appearance and biology. However, after a thorough examination, vertebra specialists changed their analysis and concluded that it was actually a snake vertebra, a distinct reptile with distinct characteristics that can be found. The largest number of vertebrae, ribs and skulls of this animal are discovered, confirming the coverage already documented and recognized by the current scientific community. I want to show everyone the true burden of ophidiophobia, Titanoboa. This impressive serpentaria could reach 14 meters in length and weigh over a ton. In the illustration, a visual comparison is shown between the vertebra of Titanoboa, a giant reptile that lived on Earth in prehistoric times, and the vertebra of a sucuri, a large serpent that still exists today. The in-depth comparison highlights differences and similarities, improving the understanding of the anatomy of the two snake species and distinguishing the Titanoboa from the modern anaconda. Similar to modern boas and anacondas, the Titanoboa, a large serpent from ancient times, did not use venom to incapacitate its prey. This hunting strategy, which emphasizes toxin-free capture, shows how these reptiles adapted to their food hunting environment. The robust and vigorous muscles could exert such intense constricting forces, collapsing the victim's circulatory system and twisting the bones in just seconds. This muscle might be devastating and effective in a short time, demonstrating its power. Currently, we hear of cases of pythons or anacondas engulfing people, which is both shocking and concerning. This raises the question of how much a giant could do if faced with a being of the same dimensions as us. This allows us to imagine terrifying and fascinating scenarios, considering these serpents' might and strength. After the extinction of most dinosaurs, a significant ecological space became available, especially for the large pteropods that had previously preyed on the land. This created an opportunity for other species to occupy the previously dominated niche by predators. Irregularly, in certain regions of the world, a group of creatures descended from pteropods, ancestors of terrestrial predators, adopted a lifestyle similar to their ancestors. This astonishing evolution recalls an era when pteropods ruled the skies, but their descendants reverted to the terrestrial behavior of their predators. If you were transferred to large prairies in South America 15 million years ago, you would witness an immense number of high-grade grains, creating an impressive natural beauty scene. Along the grass, lush forests would complement the view and add diverse colors and textures to the environment. Observing the huge prairie, one may see many ungulate mammals belonging to the llama family who are peaceful and feed on nearby vegetation. Intense and powerful sound, like a rug, emanates from dense highgrass vegetation nearby. This primitive llama is constantly vigilant, with all individuals focusing on the source of the sound they hear. At this point, all members of the animal group start running in the other direction, quickly moving towards the forest and maximizing their movement. It is possible to observe a predator moving quickly through high vegetation, but it is difficult to see due to grain density, making it difficult to identify the animal. During this certain time, the animal emerges from its hiding place in dense vegetation to capture one of its prey. Thus, he faces a tall and slender silhouette, approximately 3 meters tall, with a head shaped like an axe, presented to attack the victim fatally. I would like to introduce phororicids, also known as terror birds, due to their impressive and enigmatic appearance. The largest subspecies of this avian family was discovered in the South American continent, namely during the Miocene geological period. This period was marked by significant climatic and evolutionary changes that greatly impacted the local fauna. Discovery of this subspecies in South America in the Miocene illustrates the biodiversity and bird evolution on this continent. Certain bird species, such as the kalenkin, might reach 3 meters in height and weigh 250 pounds. Extraordinary dimensions result in ostriches looking smaller and even comical in comparison. Contemporary terrestrial birds, known for their size, had skulls that might reach almost 1 meter in length. Children with a curved shape like a hook indicate that these birds were possible predators. This imposing head shape highlights its adaptation and evolution in environments where hunting and food competition were crucial for survival. These women used axe-shaped beaks to remove their best prey. In addition, these animals had long and sharp horns as well as spurs, which were likely used to deflect arrows, similar to the cassowaries or the dromaeosaur, which lived during my period. Paleontologists estimate that these prehistoric birds could fly 50 kilometers per hour. In addition, a person with the fastest speed in history could compete in a race in an open space against one of these impressive and large beings, who were giants in their habitat. During the Gran Treka Americana, when the North and South American regions became interconnected, there was significant migration of various species. In this setting, these birds, known as the terror birds, were the only successful predators in North America. This migration conquest was especially significant in the ecological dynamics of the time. In other words, the birds that evoke fear coexisted and shared the same natural environment as large predators in North America, such as the Smilodon, a large feline with impressive characteristics, and the short-nosed bear, a notable and unique species. The extinction of this large animal group, known as megafauna, is not fully understood. Over a period of 2 million years, the giant phororicids, a unique and impressive species of birds, disappeared. This extinction marked the end of an era for these remarkable animals, known for their unique traits and distribution over the planet. One of the main causes of this situation is the glacial epoch that occurred at the end of the Miocene geological period. During this time, large birds adapted to tropical and subtropical climates struggled to adapt to new adverse climate conditions. It is crucial to note that some of the younger members of this lineage survived these changes until around 100,000 years ago in a region that is now part of Uruguay. Siriemas are the only remaining representatives of this avian family. These birds, belonging to a specific group, had close ancestors, the Syrians, the sole survivors of this lineage. Although they may not have a significant visual impact, these creations might provide a clear view of their ancestors, who lived in past times. In the 1920s, a group of U.S. paleontologists organized and embarked on an expedition to the Gobi Desert to collect fossils of dinosaurs. His interest in getting to know the beings that inhabited the planet millions of years ago motivated this journey. This expedition, dedicated to exploring and investigating different locations, discovered unusual fossils that caught the attention of researchers. The most surprising and strange discovery occurred in a geological formation from the Eocene, a period of 45 million years. Paleontologists discovered this element. The mandible in the upper jaw had the size of a mammoth, a prehistoric large animal known for its impressive characteristics. The creature had a jaw with large teeth, and the structure of the skull showed strong muscles and tendons in its anatomy, attached in these areas. This suggests that this organism had incredible morbid force, capable of crushing bones with great efficiency. The Eocene, a unique period in Earth's history, was characterized by a variety of unusual and fascinating creatures. The era, rich in social diversity, presented a variety of beings with intriguing and extraordinary characteristics. Mammals underwent diversification, but the animal world also had distinct subgroups, such as the genodonts already mentioned. These subgroups are an essential element of evolutionary history that, although not extant today, contributed to the complexity and variety of mammalian fauna. At the time mentioned, Eurasia had subtropical characteristics, conducive to the coexistence of larger and peculiar mammals. The rich biodiversity of this area was supported by these massive animals' free movement between extensive deltas and tropical forests. Located in the vegetation, Andrius arcus, the owner of this skull, was the largest terrestrial carnivorous mammal on Earth. It is closely related to entelodonts, famous as hell pigs, especially in the food chain of their time. Despite their name, this species showed more similarities to whales than pigs, suggesting a closer evolutionary relationship with ocean giants. The animal structure and body shape would be quite unusual and surprising, resembling a chimera, a creature with traits from other animals we are familiar with. It's like a fusion unusual features of several species. It is a predator with nipples and group formation on the coast. It reached about 4 meters in length and about 2 meters in height, specifically at shoulder height. Additionally, its weight could reach a ton benchmark. This weight value is close to the practical limit for terrestrial carnivorous mammals, taking into account their metabolic needs. So, it is reasonable to conclude that Andrius arcus was an animal with an insatiable appetite, leading him to often feed on the large mammals of his day. Additionally, she used strong and durable tools to grind the bones of these animals to meet their nutritional needs for their active metabolism. Accelerated metabolism is a major factor in the extinction of this type of animal. A significant reduction in the amount of prey or changes in migratory habits would be extremely detrimental and even catastrophic for the survival of the animal in its natural habitat. Although people lack sufficient information on this specific topic, it is vital to mention one of the most unique predators of the Cenozoic period. Additionally, this carnivore could leave the polar bears in a state of pallidum, as it is the largest mammal carnivorous animal in existence. The ocean contains a diverse range of creatures, including some of the most fascinating carnivorous mammals, as well as those who can be considered truly threatening. The deep-sea dwelling creatures are among the most admired and feared on our planet. The specific entity, simple and unpretentious, creates a feeling of excitement and intensifies the blood. Sharks have had an exaggerated bad reputation, mainly due to Steven Spielberg's iconic film released in the 1970s. However, it is crucial to note that this image does not imply that these marine animals are harmless or without potential danger. Throughout the years, there were several episodes involving attacks on sharks, which are naturally predatory. It is vital to note that most attacks occur due to marine animals confusing humans with their usual prey, such as fish and small animals. However, the injuries caused by these attacks are severe and can be fatal in many cases. The physical and emotional consequences of these encounters can be devastating for the victims. The beach with water up to your neck, with the thought of being surrounded by a predator several meters high and with a powerful bite, is an effective stimulus for all muscles. The grand white is one of the most famous species of sharks, not only due to its impressive size but also due to the fame it gained after being shown in the Steven Spielberg film. However, a close relative of this shark had a significant impact on the oceans during the Cenozoic age, being the type of creature that belonged to this jaw. During the Cenozoic age, the Megalodon was the top predator, measuring up to 15 meters in length. This magnificent marine mammal had massive teeth that exceeded the size of a human hand, demonstrating its remarkable adaptation as a fisherman in the aquatic environments of that time. This terrorist was a skilled whale trapper. It is worth noting that the fossil record shows an increase in cetacean diversity, which is linked to the emergence of a specific type of shark in large quantities. Additionally, evidence for this claim can be found in the visible marks on vertebrae of whales from the primitive period, which were attacked by this entity. Additionally, this organism showed significant resemblance to its extant parents, such as the tubareo bronco and marajo. However, this claim is based on speculation, given the only evidence we have of Megalodon, whose skeleton is mostly cartilaginous, its teeth and some fragments of its massive mandible. Compared to contemporary species, it is essential to consider the lack of fossil materials. The reason for the extinction of this organism, which appears to be nearly indestructible, sparks intense debate among paleontologists. In this context, paleontology is divided into two distinct perspectives. One arguing that Megalodon had warm blood, similar to its current ancestors, and the other arguing that this giant of the seas had cold blood, like most of the known sharks. The controversy involves not only the biology of Megalodon, but also its adaptations and the impact of its body temperature on its ecosystem. If the extinction were attributed to a deliberate action, the main culprit is the cooling of the oceans, which occurred after the closure of the Isthmus of Panama, approximately 10 million time. Assuming a warm-blooded organism, the main cause of death was difficulty maintaining body temperature due to a lack of oxygen. The closure of the Isthmus of Panama caused a shortage, altering the migratory routes of its prey with medium-sized whales. Marine ecosystems are highly sensitive to significant changes, especially when predators with high levels of specialization, such as the giant tubefish, are present. As said, these key players in the food chain face greater risks from abrupt changes in their habitat. In general, the last Megalodon species died off in the oceans about 2 million years ago. At the time, primitive ancestors, such as Australopithecus, inhabited the Horn of Africa. The epoch marks an important moment in the evolution of life on Earth, with transformations in the marine environment and significant changes in the evolutionary trajectory of hominids. Thus, a remarkable coincidence may have occurred on a certain day when an Australopithecus, an ancestor primate, was on the coast collecting sea fruits. At that moment, he saw a huge dorsal fin emerge from the water, clearly pursuing a group of small whales at high speed. We observed several living creatures, including fish, mammals, and birds, creating fantastic creatures in this environment. However, reptiles were again responsible for the development of the largest predator on Earth after the extinction of dinosaurs. Crocodiles, along with their evolutionary lineage, are one of the most successful animal groups on Earth. Their diversity and adaptability make them true survivors in multiple ecosystems. The fact that these massive animals survived the KPG extinction event, which occurred approximately 66 million years ago, is a clear evidence of this. When thinking about specific living beings, we have in mind aquatic creatures, known for their ability to hunt, using nests on the banks of the water. These characteristics define the behavior and habitat of these animals. Although crocodiles, such as the marine crocodile, can cause fear, it is safe to avoid large water bodies as long as you stay away from them. However, what many people are unaware of is that there was a specific, now extinct, group of living creatures that were composed of predators who lived on the land. Crocodiles chose to leave the aquatic environment and hunt their victims on land. These adaptable creatures began exploring areas outside their aquatic environments, seeking food on land and intensifying their search for prey. This led to the emergence of a terrestrial predator in dense forests of South America during prehistoric times. I'd like to introduce you to Tyrannosaurus, a fascinating prehistoric crocodile that lived on land and could reach 7 meters in length while weighing nearly 2,000 pounds. The feet of this species were located directly above the body, unlike the feet of crocodiles, resulting in an appearance similar to mammals. The legs give a different silhouette to the morphology of mammalian animals. Considering its massive size, paleontologists are skeptical that this organism could travel long distances. Instead, the main theory suggests that it was a hunter who used ambushes and made short, fast runs. This hunting with stealth tactics allows an individual to surprise prey at critical moments, using speed skills at short distances. The main idea is that the assailant used a combination of speed and strategy to capture his victims effectively. Consider the fact that the biomechanics of this animal could enable a trotting movement similar to that observed in calves. Imagine traversing vast prehistoric forests surrounded by lush vegetation. As he advances, he understands a prank resounding later. When you turn around in amazement, you find a battle tank of great design, with a threatening jaw heading towards you. The atmosphere is tense and the sense of danger intensifies as the massive structure approaches quickly, as if ready to attack. This is due to the fact that this is a unique situation. This type of animal had armor made of thick scales or osteoderms, making it immune to attacks from other animals, except for Tyrannosaurus, which were the only exception to this protection rule. Another interesting feature in the animal's anatomy is its teeth. Unlike cone-shaped teeth in modern crocodiles, Tyrannosaurus teeth have a serrated structure and a shape similar to that of leaves. Their main function is to aggress and retract their prey into the water for drowning. This tooth configuration was typical of ancient theropods and aimed to cut and rip meat, causing severe and painful injuries to victims. This animal survived until 11 million years ago, and its extinction is due to terrestrial conditions, mainly the winter effect and the planet cooled by changes in water. Additionally, the emergence of mountainous components such as the Andes significantly impacted environmental transformation. As a result, these drastic changes made it impossible for this large cold-blooded predator to adapt quickly to a rapidly changing habitat. After observing and experiencing everything, You may wonder what may be the most noteworthy thing to contemplate. We had the chance to explore Megalodon, a famous creature, and I gave him the honor of being called the king of the oceans during the Cenozoic era. At this moment, I feel a sense of apprehension for my earlier statement. Cetaceans, including whales, dolphins, and porpoises, are fascinating creatures with unique characteristics and behaviors. Additionally, its evolutionary origins are relatively recent, emphasizing the uniqueness of marine mammals. It is possible to trace the origins of this group to a group of unicellular animals that adapted to changes in the oceans and established life in the aquatic environment over time. The first signs of current whales emerged around 40 million years ago. However, it is crucial to note that its morphology was more similar to what was found in the oceans during the Mesozoic epoch. An example is the Basilosaurus, a primitive whale species that lived in coastal regions. It exemplifies the evolution of sea creatures over millions of years. During the Oligocene period, approximately 30 million years ago, there was a significant increase in the diversity of cetaceans. This phenomenon led to the emergence of all known cetacean groups and the extinction of several species. The vast variety of cetaceans led to the emergence of a monster that may have been a threat to even the giant Megalodon, one of the most fearsome predators in the ocean. The Ica region of Peru exemplifies the appearance of new species of whales. This cetacean graveyard featured a nearly complete jaw, measuring 3 meters in length, with the longest teeth in human history. I am pleased to introduce the magnificent Leviathan melvillei, often known as Leviathan, to you. The scientific attribution is a reference to the mythical Leviathan, a sea monster mentioned in biblical scriptures, and to the author Herman Melville, famous for Moby Dick. In Melville's story, the famous whale is described as a large leviathan, but in reality, it was a diminutive cockroach. The comparison of a gigantic creature to a small insect is unusual and unexpected, leading to reflections on perception and grandeur in literature and life. Unlike modern cockroaches, Leviathan was a type of whale that hunted other cetaceans such as other whales and dolphins. Due to their nature, crabs have a unique dental anatomy, with only one tooth line in the lower mandible. In contrast, Leviathan, a unique and notable creature, has teeth on both sides of its mouth, both in the upper and lower jaw. The depression in the upper skull suggests a considerable head, aiding in the use of echolocation. Echolocation involves emitting and interpreting sound waves, enabling the detection of nearby objects, making this adaptation crucial for environmental perception. The cranial configuration with this depression suggests a functional improvement in spatial perception. Projections suggest a length of 16 meters for this animal, evidencing the range of several species of whales, which seem inferior to it. This enormous oceanic monster could be considered the major superpredator of the Miocene seas. Despite the fact that big predators usually avoid fighting each other, Megalodon and Leviathan may have fought again in the vast and mysterious waters of prehistoric times. Corroborated by evidence such as shark tooth marks on the vertebrae of prehistoric juveniles. These marks suggest violent interactions such as attacks occurred between these remarkable marine creatures during their coexistence. However, there are no conclusive evidence that a Megalodon fought a Leviathan as previously mentioned. This is due to the lack of Megalodon skeletons found or preserved. The lack of adequate fossil remains limits our ability to confirm the interaction between marine creatures. However, I am convinced that Leviathan may have a significant advantage over Megalodon, making it the superior creature in a future confrontation. Intelligence is the ability to understand, learn, and apply knowledge and skills in various situations. It can manifest itself in several forms, including logical reasoning, problem-solving, creativity, adaptability, and learning. Additionally, intelligence encompasses emotional management, world understanding, and social interaction, not just academic performance. Thus, intelligence is a multifaceted concept essential to individual and social development. Cetaceans, including whales and dolphins, are widely recognized as among the most intelligent creatures on Earth. It is studied that the mythical Leviathan, associated with a great sea, had intelligence similar to current species of cetaceans. Both Leviathan and cockroaches, despite being quite different animals, share a remarkable ability to adapt and survive, which is typical of various species throughout evolution. Currently, the results of the interaction between a cetacean hunter, represented by a killer whale, and a shark do not favor the shark. This is because the assassin's weapon is highly effective, putting the shark in a disadvantageous position throughout the confrontation. The conception of a creature with intelligence similar to that of an orca, known as a killer whale, attributes to Leviathan an astonishing animal appearance, with muscles and brain capacity. The combination of physical strength and mental prowess makes Leviathan more fearsome and fascinating, suggesting a predator with cunning and strategy. If he survived to now, there would be events at sea that would make stories about the great white whale myth seem minor. This historical transformation reflects the immensity of ocean experiences and challenges, surpassing famous tales on the sea. Therefore, the effect and relevance of these narratives would be greatly reduced in light of new maritime realities. Intriguingly, both the Megalodon, a giant ocean tube dweller, and Leviathan, a mythical creature associated with marine giant serpents, disappeared for similar reasons. A sudden change in the marine ecosystem is caused by changes in ocean currents caused by the displacement of tectonic plates that form continents. This geological dynamic has significant impacts on marine life and interactions, causing profound changes in the aquatic ecosystem. Variations in marine currents can impact water temperature, nutrient distribution, and even migration patterns of marine species, causing a cascade effect that can significantly impact biodiversity and ocean health. This is the video we are presenting today. I hope everyone enjoyed this experience.